Going solo is a scary leap of faith that can either result in you becoming the Beyonce of your salon or the Latavia. And if you don't know who she is, that's kind of the point. Luckily for you, I can tell you exactly who is going to win and who is going to fail in the game we call beauty entrepreneurship. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to become the Beyonce of your salon by going solo. But first, there are actually a few things you cannot go solo without. Let me tell you, when I first got my aesthetics license and then later my tattoo license, I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't know how to get clients. I didn't have any clients. I didn't know how to get any clients. And that was kind of just the first problem. I worked on that right here. So if that's the step you're on, go and watch this video first. But then I realized that I actually had a whole bunch of other problems too that I had never even considered. Like, how long do you wait before someone is considered a no-show? And then do you charge them late fees? Or do you take deposits when they book and then keep the deposit? Or do you do both? And what if the client says, like, I'm not paying, and then gets mad and never books again? I'm not exactly in a position to lose clients right now. But if I accept that behavior, then what I'm doing is training my clients not to respect my policies. By the way, how do you create and then how do you enforce policies? Or how do you tell people policies? I don't even really feel comfortable charging what I need to charge to cover my own bills and to pay myself. But I don't know, should I charge less than what everyone else is charging until I have more experience? How do you raise your rates? By the way, how do I pay myself? And how do I determine how much to charge? I could go on for days and days and days because this was just a few of a million questions that I had. In order to answer these questions, I did and learn more about salon culture and salon management. I did what most people do, and I got hired somewhere. Shortly after getting hired somewhere, I realized that really was not the salon culture for me. Management there was actually very immature, and they were trying to learn and grow on their own, so it wasn't the place for me to learn good habits because they were working through their own, right? There was another salon closer to my home with people that I really enjoyed seeing and spending time with, and that salon culture was just so much more aligned with my personality. I wanted to go there. However, I couldn't be hired there. I would be renting a room. Was I ready for that? If I was ready, then everything would be amazing, okay? I would earn a living in a place where I enjoy going, and things would be easy, and I would go home and I would rest. I would relax. If I was not ready, then I would wind up owing $600 a month to a friend and not be able to pay it. I wouldn't be able to pay off my credit cards, which I had put so many supplies and trainings on already, and I would be embarrassed having left that other salon to go somewhere else on my own, right? Even more than that, I would actually feel like a failure because my poor husband would be stuck paying all of his bills, all the household bills, and then also paying the credit cards from my failed business. So there was kind of a lot riding on whether or not I could be successful in my own business going solo. Luckily, that is not what happened to me. Instead, I struggled a little bit, but ultimately, honestly, I did great, and the business kept growing. So much so that I even got a little bit more independent. I wound up getting my own solo suite outside of a salon setting, and then I kept growing. I grew some more, and I wound up buying commercial real estate where I now lease to other people. So I would say I took this whole going solo thing all the way to the finish line. How did I do it? And more importantly, how can you do it too? Let's go over everything that you're going to need before you move into your own space, and buckle up because we kind of have a lot. There are 10 different things that you need in your toolbox before you become the Beyonce of going solo, right? If you want to become incredibly successful, these are the 10 tools you need to do it. First, you have to go to beauty school. I'm so sorry. I know some people don't want to hear that. I know there are people out there who are tempted to skip this part and they think that they can just start lashing from home and save up some money before they go legit, or maybe they can go to Sally's and pick up some supplies and do kitchen hair, as they call it. But let me stop you right there, because cutting corners early in your career can cost you big in the long run. Trust me on this. If you invest in yourself right now, it will pay you back tenfold in the future, because you'll already be set up to grow in the business. Plus, trying to work under the radar is stressful, and it's not worth the fines and the legal trouble or ruining your name before you even get started. And the clients who actively seek out someone who is not a professional are never going to view you as one. So even if the business tries to grow, they will stunt that growth. Second is getting your experience first, which is what I was just, before you rush into renting your own space, you need some experience under your belt. Go and work at a spa or like European Wax Center, I feel like is built for this, to churn them and burn them. Just get people in. This is a way that you can build your own solid foundation. But I'm not saying to do this. Don't go into interviews and say like, I just want to learn a little bit from you before I open my own business. They're not going to invest in someone who's going to just jump ship and take their clients down the street. I'm just saying go in being mindful of learning how to run the business before you do your own. Number 3, you actually need to get your business in order. And I'm serious, because you are in fact opening a business if you're going on your own. So you're going to need the paperwork and protections that go along with that, like an LLC and an EIN number, insurance. Make sure your business policies are all squared away. You have to make sure your business is legit from day one, because if something happens and your business is not covered, it's going to be an incredibly expensive mistake. Number 4, you need to make sure that you have an online booking system and that you have a credit card processing system, a credit card processor. People need to be able to reserve your time, and they need to be able to pay you for the services you offer. So get an online booking system where you can set up your policies and have clients sign off on them when they book. I love Vagaro for this, because when someone books an appointment with me, they see my policies and they are required to agree to my policies. Otherwise, they can't book. Your client has to understand your business is a legitimate business. It captures deposits for me, like auto captures, and I have my policies, including cancellation and late policies with fees, in writing, and they agreed to it. So I'm setting the expectations from the jump and covering myself. You should do the same. Number 5 is building a social media presence. Listen, please, please, please do not go solo until you have a strong social media presence and your portfolio available online. We live in a digital age, whether you like it or not. But if no one knows that you exist, they cannot book with you. So start building that trust with your audience even before you open your doors. Like, take them along for the ride with you, right? Take them on the journey with you. Post behind the scenes content, share the highs and lows of deciding whether or not you want to go on your own, and of building a clientele, and of creating the service menu. People are going to root for you if they feel like they're part of your story. And they really actually want to see you win when they're invested, right? So they're going to book with you, and they're going to send other people to book with you. I would say you should have 10, no less than 10 reliable clients who you see regularly, who come in all the time. This is not optional. You have to have these like foundational base clients to keep you afloat while you're building other things. The more you're able to post about their visits and the progress you're making with their skin or their lashes or whatever, the more bookings that you're going to be able to get. If you build it, they will come. Number 6, this should be a no-brainer. Make sure you're financially ready. Before you sign that lease, sit down and really ask yourself, can you afford to go 6 to 12 months without a steady paycheck? There are going to be ups and downs in business. That's just how business is. It's affected by lots of things, not just you. You don't exist in a bubble. So you need to be financially prepared. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to be stressed every single month about paying rent. Instead, set aside cash, not just for your opening costs and buying furniture and stuff, but also a rainy day fund for the business. Number 7, I want you to plan your launch. I want you to plan this out like a professional. Once you have everything in place, I want you to plan launching your suite strategically. So you should have a social media thing in place. You should pick a date and call it your grand opening. I want you to get really creative with this. Make a first week menu or something. Have a really well thought out social media campaign so that you can start building hype and people are anticipating you opening the doors. I think you should actually host an open house. I think with an amazing door prize like tickets to some big game or a concert or something, or do something like a Stanley gift set and auction it off. Maybe something that even benefits a charity or something, which could be a marketing expense for you to deduct. You just need to check with your CPA. But also, these items have nothing to do with you or your brand or your services, right? They are an established name brand that people already know and like. So if they have been following your online journey and they're already kind of interested and rooting for you, if you say if you come to my open house, you could also win tickets to an LSU football game, then that might be what they need to truly push them into attending the open house. Because, I was already rooting for you, but now I could also go to something that I'm really interested in. That's great. So when they walk into the open house, they get their ticket for the drawing, and you should have samples or do something like 10-minute mini facials, or maybe do a full-on demo at some point during the night. Have refreshments. Don't hold the drawing for the door prize until the end of the night. That way people stay the whole time. In the meanwhile, I want you to have invited the local paper and make sure that you have your own photographer and videographer there too, because we need as much content as we can get from this to keep your social media alive after the push, right? Get the local paper to come in and give you a good writing for brand awareness in your local market so that like local people know who you are by inviting them with some kind of spin. Like, I'm a single mom who hired 3 single moms, and we specialize in helping teenage girls with acne to build their self-esteem. Also, we're doing an auction at the grand opening for a Yeti cooler or some kind of fancy grill or something, and proceeds go to a charity like Faith House, which is the battered women's shelter here in town. So we would love to have you there to bring awareness, not just to our business, but also to this really deserving charity. Now, here's the catch. Please make sure that you invite the charity ahead of time, because otherwise someone's going to say, oh, my friend at Faith House has never heard of you, and they're going to say that you're lying about donating the money. Number 8. We were just talking about write-offs and donations. Let's talk about that. I need you to get a business account and a tax account. Get that all set up. The business account is for your cash flow, so you can pay out monthly expenses. A tax account is where you set aside a percentage of each sale to cover your taxes and fees at the end of the year so that you aren't surprised. Don't get caught with your pants down owing Uncle Sam a bunch of money. And then get yourself a good tax accountant. Don't be afraid of your numbers. If numbers make your skin crawl or make you feel like you're failing, just hire where you need help. Trust me, paying somebody to do your taxes right the first time is a whole lot cheaper than paying taxes and penalties and fees to Uncle Sam after the fact. Number 7, I don't want you to invest your own paycheck month after month after month. I want you to apply for and use business credit cards with amazing reward systems and pay those off every month. Credit cards can be your friend if you're using them correctly. So look for ones with really great reward points that you can use for your business expenses, because those rewards can be used to buy inventory or things that you need for the business or to reinvest. Or if you're doing really well, get yourself a little treat at the end of each quarter. Also, have you ever heard of a DUNS number? DUNS, DUNS. This is, it's not an EIN, it's a different kind of number that you can use to start building business credit. So just Google that. You can apply for it online, Google that, kind of learn about it and see, because if you have one, it'll be easier for you to actually get loans and grow the business later as you start growing. Lastly, I want you to think about an investor. So even though you're building something smaller right now and it's, quote, just you, which I'm sure you've said before because I used to say it, an investor can actually give you seed money so that as you are considering to expand, it's a little bit easier on you and it gives the business some breathing room. Okay, so that is your crash course. I'm completely out of breath. That is everything you need to know before you start renting a room and going solo. If you follow these steps, you'll set yourself up for a very successful and much less stressful solo career. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions. And also, if this was helpful to you, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss out on my latest content, because I'm going to give you a whole lot more just like this.